Hello Quadrant team, my name is Sarah Lewis. Welcome to my rooftop garden. You've asked me 3 questions and I'm going to answer them for you right now. So the main reason is that I love data. You can see this if you look at my LinkedIn feed. I'm always evangelizing for scientific approaches to marketing and for data-driven decisions. Location data in particular is salient to a lot of different decisions, and I would really much look forward to working with all of that diversity and using the data for so many different decisions. The opportunity to work with a data specialist like Quadrant doesn't come along every day, and so I'm really not going to realize this goal any more deeply unless I work with a data specialist like you guys. So I actually run my own company and I have a lot of examples to draw from here. I would like to give you 2 in particular. I'd like to give you one from the corporate world where you're looking to maintain your brand. You have a lot of resources, but you're not really very agile. And then I'd like to look at a second example in the startup space where you're going for growth. You are very agile, but you don't really have so many resources. So you're going for different approaches there. You're standing out in different ways. So the corporate example I'd like to give you is from Baker McKenzie, which is the world's largest law firm. I worked there for about 6 years, and for 4 of those years I led their digital marketing function. I actually built it and pioneered it. That role was created for me off the back of an instance where I made them just look like absolute rock stars. This was a client, it was a Fortune 500 company client, and they wanted us to deliver legal advice to them online. So I created this digital map with the help of colleagues in the design departments and the ID departments. I conceptualized and created this digital map that gave them what they wanted. This was so successful that they were shortlisted, they were highly recommended for an FT Innovative Law Award in 2015, and the partner that I worked on it with ended up rolling it out to all of his clients. We also managed to shift out their incumbent in Asia and managed to cross-sell work from employment law into data privacy law, and my team, myself and the lady I was supervising, we did that directly ourselves. So this is an example of where I made a large corporate brand look like a rock star. So moving on to the startup space. So as I mentioned, this is a little bit different. You're going for high growth. You don't have a lot of resources. So we're not looking at extremely exciting, high-cost ways of making people look good. But your one major competitive advantage is that you're agile. And so one of the things that I do for my clients in this space is I make sure that they have all of their sales and proposal material properly branded. So we're talking properly branded slide decks, any postcards they have, all of this stuff, especially the proposals. And I make sure they have lots and lots of options to choose for so that they can mix in and out things like diagrams or data visualizations. Why do I do this? The reason I do this is because when a proposal comes in, your sales team needs to be able to respond within the day. It demonstrates your agility, and it's one of the main reasons why a large company will work with a small company, is because they see that you're agile enough. By the time everyone else is at the start gate 3 days later, you have already had a conversation on the phone, you've already got your proposal in, and they've already decided to work with you. It makes a huge difference, a huge difference. So this is the big question, making Quadrant stand out. I have to put a caveat in here. Any good marketing strategy has to operate through the business strategy. It has to align with it. So without having any internal information about that, you'll probably notice some gaps in what I say, but here's some ideas I have off the bat and based off the research I've done on your various channels. Any small startup is going to be focused primarily on operations. Getting those nailed are going to be fundamental to growing later on. They also need to be focused on growth, brand growth. So there are a number of things that I would do in your case to try and build these out. So the first thing I'd make sure of was that you had a really nice, sharp, visual, consistent brand. Why? Because a sharp brand makes it look like you've got your shit together. A consistent brand makes you look reliable, and a visual brand is far more accessible than one that's based heavily on text or technical terms. So this means I probably lean very heavily on data visualizations. The second thing I do is I would give you really clearly branded selling materials, and I would give you lots of different options. I would think of every slide you could possibly need in a pitch, and I would make sure that they were branded and beautifully visualized. Why? Because it gives you the ability to respond same day to any proposal that comes in, and that is essential for small companies. It's their main competitive advantage. The other thing I do is I would make sure that your key leaders were doing proper social selling. Most small businesses gain most of their business through word of mouth and via their network, so it's really important to activate that properly. I would also want to run a program of small events, maybe once every 2 weeks. Myself and someone from the data side would sit with 3 people who we thought were good potential customers, and we would talk them through, troubleshoot their data-driven decision making, and use our own data and visualizations to help demonstrate what we mean. It would be very much focused on them and their discussion, not on us. It's not a demo, one-way demo. So I would include those as well. I've mentioned operations as a key element. I want to give that a little bit of special attention. We would want to do a content pipeline, make sure that that's really robust. That content pipeline will need to produce quite a lot. We'll need to produce probably a video a week. If you're going to create a website that generates a lot of leads, then a website with a blog creates 128% of the leads of a website without a blog, and a website with 400 articles creates 300% of the leads of a website with a blog. So that's quite a lot to come up with. If you try and publish an article a day, it'll take you 2 years to get to that 400 article mark. So it needs to produce quite a lot of content, this content pipeline. Usually they start in a flash of enthusiasm and then filter off, so it's really important to keep pushing them. Secondly, I would make sure that the knowledge management of the marketing department is very, very good. It's very clear where to find the different kinds of templates and branded templates that you need. I would train everyone on the brand. I would train everyone on social selling. I would make sure that you were able to come to me with all of your questions, and I would police the brand very, very carefully. Thank you very much for listening to me. I do have a few books that might be useful. I thought I'd share them in a reading list with you. I'll just get them.